Okay, folks, this thing I've got is nearly 40 years old. I got it for Christmas back in 1982, nearly 30 years, nearly 40, should I say, years ago. And this is probably one of the nice things Dad got me. Oh, he always gave good presents at Christmas time, but the rest of the year, and birthday, but the rest of the year he was quite stingy. He didn't buy things on demand. It always had to be around Christmas or birthday when he'd loosen up the purse strings. But this is something I really wanted, and yeah, it was really nice. But I'm not saying Dad's a nice person. In some ways it's quite painful when someone treats you like shit and they give you something nice. It just makes you feel it's a bit hard to know if that person, if they like you or not, or if they're kind or not. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like the wind blowing hot and cold. 1 minute, yeah, Dad can be generous at Chrissy time, and the other times he just is a fucking asshole. And it's really horrible to have that happen. Anyway, let's see what this thing is. It is a miniature synthesizer, music synthesizer, folks. You wouldn't believe it. This is not a toy. Even the band called the Human League had one of these, apparently. So we're going to use this as a demo piece, of course. And yeah, it's the right size, A3, so I can just reduce the whole image down. But basically, yeah, my dad gave this to me, and because I wanted a synthesizer as a gift. Long before I got involved with photocopiers, this was it. I did have an interest in photocopiers momentarily when I was 8 years old, but I never acted on it. But my dad hates my photocopier art, and I need to prove to him that he is wrong. Somehow I've got to prove. And that's come up looking really quite interesting. I would have liked it to have gone all the way to the bottom, but you can't fault that, I don't think. I would have liked more of that to show. I've got to try another one. But yeah, it really is a bit difficult when someone who treats you like shit gives you a nice present like this. You know, you just don't know what to think. You know, is he really that bad? Did he really abuse me? Did he really, treat me like, it's like, yeah, it's a bit difficult dealing with someone who blows hot and cold. And that's come up looking quite interesting. I think we can utilise this one. We've got more of the screen, and we've got this lovely little graphic there. But basically, I really wish my dad could accept me as I am. He gives things out that he thinks he wants you to have. The only thing Dad never gave me was a fucking photocopier. That's the funny thing. That's the strange thing about my father, is that the things I wanted, he usually gave. But the one thing he didn't give me was a fucking photocopier. That was he tried to actively discourage me over the years to be a photocopier artist. He didn't like my creativity, my creative process. He calls it foolishness, and it really hurts my feelings that he does that, and that he doesn't want me to just be me. He wants me to be someone else, and unfortunately I never was able to play the synthesizer very well or make music. But the thing is, my dad put me through lots of after-school activities, and I never took to any of them, folks. And this has come up looking a treat. I never took to any of these after-school activities that Dad wanted me to do, that Dad offered. I mean, I wanted to do a lot of them as well, but I never was able to stick to it and apply myself. And it cost Dad lots of money, you know, paying for all these activities that I never applied myself properly to. But when it came to photocopier art, I discovered that virtually on my own. I was doing it on my own. I never had any classes or activities after school. I was never coaxed into it by my folks, by my parents or anyone. Oh, sure, some people gave me some ideas on how to use the photocopier creatively, but I did most of the work myself. You know, someone tells me not just to keep your hand still, but to move your hand while it's photocopying. That was one of the ideas I was given by someone at school. So I used to take little tips from people, but apart from that, I was mostly developing techniques and ideas on my own. I never had any help from any organised classes or any classes, you know, not even at school, you know. Oh, actually, some of the people at school were encouraging me and gave me some ideas. But basically I did most of it on my own. And I never did the classes. But Dad used to always hated my photocopier art. He didn't seem to think that there was any creative merit in it, that it was foolishness, because it was different. It wasn't typical. It wasn't, you know, it really hurt my feelings that I couldn't practice photocopier art without the possibility that I was going to get banned, that I wasn't going to be able to do it. And that caused me a lot of stress and anxiety, and my dad just wouldn't accept me doing it, and he just tried to ban me. He even told me to hand over some photocopies I did at the library. He said, hand over the photocopies, like he was a cop demanding a criminal hand over a gun or drugs. Hand over the photocopies. And then he tore them up. Fortunately, he didn't tear up a masterpiece. He tore up some black and white pieces that I did, which was really, you know, I was crying my eyes out, folks. I was bawling and begging my dad not to ban me, and he just stood his ground. He didn't collapse under pressure. He didn't feel any mercy. I've never seen my dad cry, especially, he's got the soul of a granite. He's a piece of granite. You know, you stand up to him, he'll headbutt you. Not literally, he's not headbutter, but it's like he's a headbutt. He hurts. It really hurts when he fights you. When he picks a fight, it really hurts. So he's an asshole. And this is probably one of the nicest moments he's given me, this synthesizer, but it still doesn't excuse him for the shit he's created. So trying to get on the 6 o'clock news and try and show him that I'm not a fucking failure with this. But anyway, that's another story. Gotta go.